we're going to talk about motivating your employees, because we know that as you become a manager, as you become a director, it's not always followed up with all the training that you really need in managing people. That's the hardest part. You know the kitchen, you know food production records, you know how to order, but when you get the people involved, then suddenly it becomes, that's what you do all day, is manage all these people, right? All the problems, so-and-so's not doing her work and this other person is angry about it. All of those issues that come up constantly, and especially in a kitchen where everybody is trying to work together. They have to work together to get the job done, right? It's a high stress situation, so a lot of personalities clash and different things come up, and we want to motivate them to be great kitchen people, to serve with a smile, right? To do all the things we know need to happen to get those kids to eat this food. But sometimes that's easier said than done. And I find most of the districts I talk to, y'all don't know where to start, because it's a hard thing when you just say motivate people. Great, well, how do I do that, right? So today we're going to look at this from a little bit of a different angle. We have been studying here at Region 12 in our child nutrition department a book, and it is by Gretchen Rubin. Here it is. It's called The Four Tendencies. I heard a podcast a while back. If anybody listens to Rachel Hollis, her Rise podcast, she had Gretchen Rubin on, and she talked all about how everybody in the world pretty much falls into four categories when we talk about motivating. How do you motivate yourself? How do you motivate other people? We'll get into it and let you hear a little bit from Gretchen Rubin, who will explain it. But we just all found that naturally we fell into different categories, which is why we all get along so well and why we're able to get the job done. But also it helps us know how to motivate ourselves, and then how to deal with each other and how to communicate with each other. Because when you're coming from a different viewpoint, sometimes you like to talk how you understand things, but other people don't understand it that same way, right? We've all tried to teach someone something and they really don't understand it the way you understand it. So you have to circle back and find a different way to teach them, right? So just a little small example. Let's talk about not food production records, wellness policy, right? Everybody has to update their wellness policy. We know we have a triennial assessment we have to do, right? Every 3 years. We have one that we have to do every year. So I'm certain some of you say, okay, that's the rule. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get it done by Friday because I'm getting reviewed next year. So I wanna get it all finished and approved and ready to go. Some of you think the wellness policy is a little bit crazy. Why do we have to do all this extra work? But you know what? They told me I have to do it. They're gonna check it during my review. So I'll go ahead and I'll get it done by Friday. Other people say this wellness policy idea, I feel like it's a little crazy. I wanna look it up. I wanna know what all the rules are. I wanna see exactly what other districts have done. You can't see us all, but we're all pointing at each other because this is us. You wanna see all these samples. Let me see some sample wellness policies and how they did the assessment. I wanna look at all these ideas before I decide what I wanna do. And you get so overwhelmed by all these choices that you don't really get it done by Friday, but you definitely get it done by next week. And then there's other people who say, I'm not doing it. It's dumb. It doesn't make any sense. Nobody at my district is following it. So I'm not gonna do the extra work, and TDA is not gonna take any money away. So I'm just gonna take the finding. I'm not doing it, right? I would assume most everyone who just heard me go through those 4 examples, there's one that kind of sticks out to you that says, you say, yep, that's me. That's exactly how I would do that. And when you hear the other ones, you think that's insane. Nobody would do that. Who would just take a finding from TDA? Nobody would do that, right? That is because what I spoke to was your tendency, and the other tendencies that seem crazy to you would be what some of your employees probably are. If you don't understand those, you can't motivate them to get the job done. So when we talk food production records, if I tell someone, you have to get this done by a certain time, now do it. If I don't go with their tendency, explain it. You're about to learn all of this, all the different tendencies, each one has its own method. It'll really help you get better results. So let's go ahead and let's dive into our PowerPoint presentation, and we'll get started. Let me share it with you. If I didn't have so many things open on my desktop, this would be easier, wouldn't it?
It's probably that one there.
It is, Jeff, you're right, thank you. Yay. Oh no, just kidding. Can they see it?
Yes, yes, now we can.
Yes? Okay. Motivating your employees, right? So the 4 tendencies by Gretchen Rubin, she did a study of human behavior, and she figured out that people tend to generally fall into these 4 tendencies. It all goes back to, how do you respond to people's expectations? When somebody expects you to do something, what do? That is, it goes all back to that. And it's not, it's very easy when we do these kind of personality tests to say, oh, I know so-and-so, they're totally this. But it really is hard to figure out what people's inner motivations are, because we could do the exact same thing, Jeff and I, but we're doing it for different reasons, right? So for the tendencies, we get into outer expectations versus inner expectations. So the outer expectations are the things that people put on you. So a work deadline, a group project, if you have commitments to your family and friends, or let's say you want to work out, you do that by going to a class at a gym that's going to charge you if you don't show up. So that's an outer expectation. Inner expectations are the ones we have for ourselves. So that may be your New Year's resolution, right? I'm going to study for this test so I can make an A. I'm going to get up and go running every morning, and you're going to keep that promise to yourself, right? Inner versus outer is what all of this boils down to. So now we're going to let Gretchen Rubin tell you all about it and how she came up with this idea.